Studio One, nestled in the heart of Calgary. Welcome to Aaron Gibson's Soul Man Live. Bringing you that moment of joy in your day to ignite your inner phoenix and fly. Today's featured guests.
The gremlins are loose. Let's rock and roll. No intro, no pre-live. We are firing it off and we are getting to town. We're going to drop some stuff out because apparently tonight is just not the night for LinkedIn and StreamYard to be cooperating and Google not cooperating with me. So yeah, we're just going to roll with the punches tonight. We're going to stop that screen. We're going to get things under control again. We're just going to... We've got some very special guests in the house this evening. And yeah, we talk about never being in control, right? Welcome to live. This is what happens. Sometimes things don't go as you plan. And as much as I'd love to see what I wanted to see happen, it's not going to happen. So we're just going to roll with them punches. Tonight, everyone, thank you for joining me. First of all, early, way early. Normally that 15-minute pre-live helps to get everybody worked up, get you going, get you grooving. So we're just going to do kind of as best as we can with the screen. So not only did I have problems with pre-live tonight and everything wanting to coordinate, my light also for my computer has gone down too. So I've got a normal desk light working. Talk about them gremlins. And it's well after Halloween. I don't know what is going on. So we're going to keep those vibes going. Tonight, kicking things off, I just want to say thank you to all of you out there for embracing what we do here. Some realizations, and that powerful realization of when you have committed to a dream and you've watched that dream kind of come to reality, but you've been pushing for so long at it that you don't really realize what you've accomplished so far. And I don't generally like to use that word accomplished. I like what have you worked up to? And the realization of this week was, okay, well, how much time am I actually putting into this? What am I trying to give back? And starting off this little show that has become something that's amazing and embracing for so many, and just a moment to be in that space of unconditional support and embrace. No judgment here. We see only in one color, which is green. You can be from whatever planet that you want to be from. You can be whoever you are. We don't look at that. We look at the soul. So starting this off, as small as it was, has grown into something amazing. And the reflection of over this past month, I have hit over 2,000 followers here now on LinkedIn. And that's 1,000. Like, I only just achieved 1,000. I think it was back in February. So to get that another 1,000 of you connections out there, supporting, loving, being the person in the unique light that you are, it just warms my heart and makes me see that everything that I've put into this and the team has put into this, and so many other souls have divulged and shared their journey with, it's reaching those that are silently struggling. And it is, again, an opportunity to gift that light, to share that joy. So tonight's special guest, I've actually been following her for quite some time when I was a, a little person in this LinkedIn world. And she is a soul of perseverance. She is a soul of spark. That when I think of the soul, she is a spark. And where she gets her energy from, I swear she's got maybe about 13 car batteries hooked up to her at all times. She's coming, she's going, she's orchestrating, she's managing, she's editing, authoring. Her, along with one of our previous Phoenixes, put together a super huge collaboration, which was the top most inspirational connections on LinkedIn. This was a monumental project. This took hours of sacrifice to go through and watch these videos, put it all together, collaborate, working and she would still show up on her own shows full of energy, full of positivity, pushing others to that level to the point where she is a teacher. She is somebody that I myself have watched and learned a lot from, and she has inspired me. And she is also, like, literally, you want to talk to Energizer Bunny, this spark is absolutely that. So without further ado, it is my honor, it is my privilege to have this remarkable soul with her busy schedule on our show this evening to share with you her light, her journey, and the things that she has worked to achieve that maybe you can draw from. Without further ado, please welcome to the stage Dr. Constance Leland. And you are on mute, my lady, before you start firing away that spark.
I am, because I was busy trying to tell my bulldogs, be quiet, go to bed, hush up. Like, literally, I swear to you, they're on fire when I'm live. I'm like, it's either TV show, podcast, whatever, it doesn't matter. Or I'm teaching and they would literally growl at my students. I was like, oh my God, stop. Oh my gosh, I am so happy. First of all, congratulations on those 1,000, okay? Network. Woohoo, we're growing slow and I love that. So I want to celebrate you, first of all. And I want to celebrate our gremlin, Nancy Deborah Barrows, that's behind the scene. And our dear sister, Nick, is also behind the scene. Thank you guys so much for having me here. But yes, let's talk.
Wow, where to begin with you and the things that I've watched you do, things that you've shared, the teachings that you've provided, the insight that you give during audio, and the fact that you are a woman and a spirit that perpetually shows up for others and is a fierce supporter. So here on Soul Man Live, we obviously look into that soul of yours, and obviously I've spoken of your spark. For those that haven't had the opportunity to actually meet you or see you in, this first light, please share with everybody in the audience who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to try to do it in 5 minutes.
You take your time here.
My goal, right? Here's the thing. I was born and raised in the Philippines. My mom left me when I was 2. My dad left me when I was 2. So I was left to my grandma, which is my dad's side. I came here when I was 13, didn't know how to speak English, graduated early, got into Yale, but didn't go to Yale because my dad said, that is way too far. You can't go anywhere within 10-mile radius. Being an Asian family, it's a lot of pressure on education. Because to us, education is life. And if you are educated, you are more valuable to your family, right? And so that was the whole push. And I love education for the fact that I get to learn more. But what I was actually thinking, like, the more I know, the more I feel stupid. It's so true. Like, I'm like, I didn't even know that. Why? Why didn't I not know that? And my dad's like, because you didn't read up on it and you can't read the whole thing. And I was like, I'm going to get more education. So here I am on my 5th degree. I am a professor full time for about 10 years. I do associate certificate, Battelle, tourism, neuromarketing. I do doctorate, MBA students. Right now, I'm also a business entrepreneur. That's my full time job. Is I teach at 2 different universities. One has 170,000 students. The other one has about 1,200. I am also a director for business entrepreneurship, and I own my own business, Level Up Academy. The reason that business was born, it's because my students I have international students, and when they come to work to United States, they don't understand the American culture, and they're like, Dr. Leland, I'm in this class about management, and I don't understand why my boss is this way. How do I manage my boss? And my first course, actually, it's called Managing Your Boss. What's the twist on that course is that it's not about managing your boss. Technically, you are the boss of yourself. It is about critical thinking. It is about knowing your own strengths and your weaknesses so you can create opportunities on those weaknesses and make it into your strength. Knowing how to talk to people and communicate in such a way that you get what you want and get the buy-in before you push in. And so I had to teach those to my students. I'm like, well, this is a disservice. The university don't teach you how to do that. And I can't make it because there's a structure. It's a structured thing with universities where you literally come in and teach whatever they give you. So in fact, it's a disservice to my students. I'm like, I can't. So I created my own Level Up Academy so I could do bridging the gap, which is if you're in the university, you need to learn the theory because you need to know why it's doing what it's doing. But then in my class, you get to learn transferable skills, meaning whatever you learned, now we put it to work in real life and see if that works. And then now you can practice it in real life and tell me feedback, how we can work it together. So that's what I do. I teach. I have 2 kids, used to have 4 dogs, now 3. And I love always putting my community in. And I think the reason after I reflect on that, Aaron, it's because I have an abandonment issue. When you're left without parents and you always try to please everybody else except for you, and the hunger for love and affection. And it's get to the point where I'm living in the gray. I'm not Asian enough, but I'm not American enough, right? So when you grow up with so much pressure, including your society, and then you're growing older and you're like, you know what? I'm giving you a middle finger. I don't care about what you think. I don't care about what you think. I'm going to help anyway, the way I can. And then I'm going to create my own tribe who wants to level up with me. That's why I call my company Level Up Academy by Doc Leland. It's because I know a lot of people are living in the gray. There's a lot of rejection out there. There's a lot of mental stuff happening.
Adversities. There's a lot of adversities.
Too much. And judgment left and right. And people are like, oh, don't care about what others tell you. You're right, because they're a stranger. But when someone who you respected and someone that you care judge you, it hurts.
Absolutely.
So,
and
yeah.
I absolutely, and I feel that. And that's one of the things that I've reflected upon with you is that, I mean, you were put into that position. You were abandoned, and you had that choice. You could either, just give in and just kind of go with the way that the flow of things, or you could fight for more. It was one of the things I could see mostly when I was reflecting on your pictures, when I was assembling your mental health break montage, is the strength behind you. And in such a young age, to be left with 2 different perspectives is that, okay, well, most children have that benefit of, this is what I want to grow up to. And the other perspective is, what do I grow up to? And you literally, through your own fire, just drove yourself. Like your LinkedIn profile says it all. When you read that profile and the doctorates that you've done and the time that you've committed to helping students and the leeway that you've given your students, because I do recall during the 50 most impactful connections on LinkedIn, thanks to you and Nicole, you were always gracious as a teacher to say, okay, we need a little bit more time. You looked at the reality of things rather than looking at the deadline. You looked at the reality of things that if we want a good product, then we're going to have to make that time. And that takes a lot of leadership and a lot of restraint and patience to just make sure that you're molding people the way that you want to mold them into that, path or direction. So obviously with that kind of background growing up and the abandonment, and then having your grandmother come in and step into your role, when did you find yourself consciously aware that you needed to recognize that you had this drive, you had this opportunity to either clasp on or just go with the flow? When do you feel that with your grandmother, do you feel it was that moment, that pinnacle moment where, you know what, no, I want to go to school. I want to take it all the way?
Well, okay. First is when I came to United States, I didn't know how to speak English. And one of my classmates, I remember, he called me a dummy. And I literally smiled because I thought a dummy was cute. Okay. I didn't know what that means. So I was just having conversations like, hey, dummy. And I'm like, hey, like I didn't know what that means. Then I learned English. So basically at that time, it was called English Language Development. Today it's called English as a Second Language. And if you're a foreigner, you have to take 3 years of ELD. And then by senior year, you can then get to general college prep class so you can go to college. Well, I did that 3 years in 3 months and I tested it all out. And then I figured out what the dummy is. So I asked this guy, I said, okay, what is the definition of a dummy? And he's like, well, GPA, like grades, like hello, you have to be intelligent and it's just like an average of everything. I was like, oh, GPA, cool. What is your GPA right now? He's like 2.5. And I'm like, cool. And he's like, well, what's yours? I was like 4.2. And he's like, so I said, so does that mean you're a dummy? And he literally looked at me and walked away. And I was like, So I came home to my mom and I'm like, did I do wrong? And she's like, no, he just realized that what he did is he set up himself for that. And I said, you don't judge by the people and what they're doing right now, because you don't know, like everything you see on my profile on LinkedIn is not the whole me. I don't put in there that I drive, I fly a drone. I don't put in there that I play video games like a wazoo. Okay. I play video games all the time. I don't put in there that I go to Comic-Con and dress up, right? And I have my pink hair. I don't put all of that. It's because that's not all of me. And what I want you guys to know, like, oh, you have to be a doctor. You got to be old. You got to dress up a certain way. You got to, you can't wear makeup. Like all of these societal constraint that we basically hear and then we put it on ourselves is bad for you, right? Just like not having vitamin D is bad for you and you get all of these things, that mental well-being that we're trying to protect, it's because you're double hard on yourself. And when I learned to just not give an F, that's when I feel like I blossomed. And the reason that I tell my sister Nick in this, the reason that I love education is because I'm using that, what I've learned, and share it to the world in an affordable way. Because if you go to the colleges that I go to, and I've been a dean in 3 different universities. I was an admin as well. And I've met Warren Buffett. I've met really cool, amazing people. What I've learned is that the more that you help others, you're actually helping yourself. And honestly, we are meant to help each other as a community. That's what we were meant to do. And when you are competing with people or you think you're competing, it's actually a disservice to you and your growth. Doesn't matter if you're 70, you're 80, you're 12. When you are collaborating with people, you're having multiple solutions rather than what you are gaining. And that's why I love collaborating. That's why I do global summits. 50 Inspirationals coming again next year for sure. It's because I love to collaborate. And people who are having doubts about themselves, don't think that nobody has doubts. I have doubts all the time. I'm like, am I doing this right? Thank God for my sister Susanna, because when I'm like totally full of craziness in my head and then my sister Nick is at work, I'm like, dialing Susanna at 10 p.m. Are you awake? Why? I need to vent right now. I am so fed up. And he's like, okay. And so that's why you need those type of people around you that you can vent without judgment. What do you think about that?
Absolutely 100% wholeheartedly agree. Super Hulk heart to it, as a matter of fact. And I mean, I was only just exposed to this, I mean, in the last year, you know, when you, again, and hashtag my brother, Brian Schulman, Voice Your Vibe, when you surround yourself with those people, you build your tribe. And that was the first tribe that I really embraced and endured. And it was just like, no, I feel these people's light, their values, the way that they see people is very similar to the way that I see people, which is not a reflection on what the surface is or where you come from, or, you know, what planet you come from. It's a healthy reflection of the soul within, and the fact that you have something to give, you have something to offer, and to get rid of those, I mean, to carry those stresses with you, of those, like, well, they come from here. That's more stress on you than it is to go, you know what does this person have to offer to the table? Let's throw everything aside. Let's throw the cover off the book. Let's just look at the book. And the amount of people that I've met through LinkedIn here are genuine souls, people that genuinely care about other souls. And I have been treated better than strangers here on LinkedIn. I've been treated better by them than those in what I thought was my inner circle to first, grow up with. You get a whole new level of friendship. You get a whole new level of family. And again, you have those people where you can lean. It's like, man, I'm losing my shit right now. Where can I just release this? And hashtag, and a nice good mic pop, as I always do. I mean, those people in my inner circle know who they are, and I'm in touch with them on a daily basis, and as we can, with energy permitting. And it's that grace that, when we find those people, those are the rare gems, and you freaking hold on to them like you would no other. So I absolutely 100% agree with you. And again, the teachings that you've provided, and again, a lot of the adversities, cultural diversity being, one of those things that you were automatically stereotyped, which is not fair. And for me, when I first came on board on LinkedIn, I was like, hot damn, this girl has got her fucking head on her shoulders. She knows what she wants. She is committed to her passion. And we're looking beyond all the things that you normally hear on LinkedIn, which is, the brand. Well, the brand is you. And yes, these are all very true things, but what makes that energy? By the way, you have the most, I am totally distracted by the most amazing backdrop that I have ever seen on my show. Like, this is whole new level. Level up, right?
Yeah, my sister called me and I said, oh, I have a background now. Okay, first of all, when I did my MP3, okay, people are like, live stream podcast. Okay, y'all are confused. Podcast, okay, usually, generally speaking, is MP3. Live stream is video, okay? So I was like, first of all, I'm old school. When I talk about podcasts, I'm talking about audio only. And I did that since February of last year because of a problem I was trying to solve as a dean. And then I wanted to quit on like April, but then I got an email from someone that I saved her life and her son listening to my episode 2 about my students who's 50 years old and went back to school. So every time I get lazy on releasing an audio, I think about that moment that I saved someone's life, and I'm like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, right? And because for that one person, even if only one person is listening and I'm only affecting one person, I don't care. I will do it for that one person. And then from there, the distribution channel just grew. So I use my platform for free for my connections, is because we need to hear stories from people out there like you and I on their adversity. You know how when you have a child and you're like, oh gosh, I wish parenting is easy and there's a book on how to parent, right? Because each child is different. Well, hello. We are here live streaming. Our life is literally right now in front of you, and how we do things doesn't mean it's going to fit perfectly in your life, but it means that you can extrapolate some of those information to do a little bit of shortcut. It took me 5 years to do this. Maybe it will only take you 2 months, right? So learn from it. And that's what I do on Wednesday. But hear this, Aaron, and I want all the people, team replay or live, you have to be careful what you put in your subconscious. 95% of us walking around subconsciously, okay? 95% of our brain is subconscious. 5% is the only thing that's conscious. Whatever you believe in yourself, whatever you think of yourself is affecting your consciousness. And here's the thing. Last year, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to have a wild vision. I want to be, because I was always been told, you cannot be on TV. You're short. You're Filipino. You're like all of these constraints. I was like, yeah. And then I said, okay, fine. My vision is going to be the Netflix of education. I'm going to have a TV show and educating people on certain things. That's why it's called life. And I'm going to educate them on what I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in, okay, in my education, and give it to you guys for free. How's that? And then my girlfriend's like, yeah, that might happen in 10 years. Like a TV show, that's just crazy idea. I'm like, yeah, I know. You know me and my crazy ideas. I'm just going to put it out there, right? Literally 3 weeks ago, I have a TV show. What does that mean? It means whatever you put in your head, it may or may not come true. That's why it's super important when you're thinking about your vision. It's wild vision, but it's something that you know it could be attainable 5 to 10 years from now. Your mission should be right there with your vision. It's something that you do daily to affect that vision to come true. So my vision is to be the Netflix of education. My mission is to level up the world through education. That is why I'm an educator. That is what I do with my community. And I want everyone to help me because I cannot do it myself. Not happening.
And again, through that power of collaboration, right? And building that circle around you. So now that we've kind of gotten that whole grasp of the surrounding of those people that, you know, help to influence you, that have obviously positively impacted you and help you to drive you forward. And I totally understand when you were speaking of, it's almost it's infectious when you help that first person. The fact that you've literally either you've gotten them out of a problem. And just a quick note, just want to send some quick big burly hugs to Carolyn Smith, who is still, she regrettably ended up having to go back to the hospital. She's still struggling in the hospital right now. I just checked in with her earlier. But again, you know, those people that, I mean, they show up even in their worst moments to help you out when you've given them something in return. And this is that beautiful reciprocation. So when do you feel, out of everything that all the things that you had piled on you, being a mom, going to school, dealing with the way that school treats you, dealing with stereotypes, when do you feel was that pinnacle moment for you that, you know what, gently said, freak it, I'm worth it? You kind of touched on it earlier, but when was that point for you to say, you know what, I don't freaking care anymore. This is all about me. It's me that I have to face in the mirror every morning. It's those kids that I have to support every day. And this is the goal that I have set in my mind. When was that point that you finally said, no, I am worth it. Let's do this?
I think it was before my second child. So I'd say about age 27. I said, you know what? I had my bachelor's degree at 21. And during my bachelor's degree, most people full-time is about 12 units. That's 3, 6, 9, 4 classes. I had 24 units and working full-time. I had doubled major in computer software programming. And I love computers, computer software programming and communications, which is the opposite because I did journalism, editing, all the clubs you can think of. I was president of everything. Because I was pleasing my family, right? And it was exhausting. And then about age 27, I got married at 25. And then I had a baby at 26. And age 27, I think we were moving to Boston at that time with my husband. We barely had anything. We had one child. We didn't have anything. We had to move because my husband got promoted in a better job position. Like barely scraping it. And then we moved to Boston. And I did not know that Boston's so expensive, more than California. It was like $5,000 for 2 bedrooms, literally tiny bedrooms. It was like $5,000 of rent. And I was like, geez, how are we gonna live like this? And I told my husband, you know what? I think I'm gonna go back to school. And he's like, okay. So before we moved in, I moved back to school, and then I ended up getting pregnant with my second child. And then I had my child, and I told my dad, and he's like, well, no, you just stay home with the kids. I actually lost friends because when I went back to get my master's, they said, why would you go back to school? You already got your bachelor's. That's a waste of time and money. You don't need to go back. You're going to be a stay-at-home mom. What's the education got to do with it? Like, you're done. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm not going to be a mom of toddlers for the rest of my life. They're going to grow up. They're going to be somewhere else. I want to help others. I didn't know what I was going to do. I really didn't. I was in sales. I was already a supervisor of 100 at age 20. I was moving up in my career. Had to give it up because I had a baby. And so my friends are like, see, you're already stay-at-home mom. Why would you get another degree? What's the point? It's useless. It's just waste of money and time. In that moment, I decided no one gets me. Not even my own family. They didn't know why I wanted to do it. At that point, it's not even about being educated because of family anymore. It's because I really wanted to do something else. And then when I found out that I have 2 daughters, I wanted to research how can I make the future better for them more than I have ever done in my life. And I was on a quest. I used to be one of the United Nations ambassador for women and girls because of my daughters. They drive me to do that. I used to volunteer and got the city mayor to give me the key of the city because I volunteered thousands of hours in my city. And my drive to not give an F anymore, it's when people tell you you can't, it's because they're looking at the mirror of what they cannot do. So they'd rather tell you can't, when literally your possibility is endless. When you decide, I don't give a hoot what you have to say because I'm going to do it anyway, that's when you feel liberated. That's why I said I was living in a gray for a while until I just said, nope, I don't care about what you say. I don't care about what you say. I'm not stealing. I'm not hurting. I'm not asking for your money, nor am I asking for your permission or opinion anymore. So I said, bye-bye. And I just did what I got to do. And then I got my doctorate. I got cancer. I had to stop because I thought people were telling me you're going to die in 8 months. I said, okay. Is there an option number 2 that I don't die? My kids are too little. I can't stand having another mom with these kids. My husband refused and said, let's go. Let's get to the best doctor that we can. And I did. But I cried when I got my doctorate, Erin, at 32. You know what I said? And my daughter was listening. I said, I'm a failure. And my daughter, she was 5. She came to me. She gave me a hug. She wiped my tears. And she said, Mama, you failed a class? When that ever happened? And I said, no, honey, I'm a failure because I got my doctorate old. I wanted to be a doctor at age 30, not 32. 2 years is already a big gap. You know what my daughter said? Doesn't matter. You're still who you are, Mama. I still love you for who you are, whether you're a doctor or not a doctor. So long as you take me to the zoo and Starbucks.
Kids have that way, though, don't they?
Yeah.
I absolutely
Yeah.
adore the perspective of children and how they can catch us again at those our worst moments and literally convert us um, to just totally go, you know what? Yeah, this is worth laughing off. This is worth just embracing in that moment and just letting it go and staying on that path, that commitment to your internal self to go all the way. You have a dream, and that dream again, for those that haven't yet discovered, I mean, you are you are a diamond with so many different facets of light to draw from, learn from, pass along your good words. I gotta ask, I mean, where in the hell do you get this energy? Like, it is phenomenal on like
Coffee. Yeah.
I
See,
I
look, Aaron.
I live on coffee too, but what is in that coffee? Seriously, I need some.
Okay, can I wasn't gonna tell you guys this because I have a mental block with this, and this is really personal. And I didn't think that I was gonna share it, and I didn't even plan on sharing it, but I think it is because it's part of me. And I don't want to cry because I get emotional, and I have really good makeup right now, so I don't want to cry. So a couple of days ago, I was just diagnosed with ADHD, adult ADHD. The only people that know about this is my sisters. And it's one thing to joke around, like, oh my God, I think I have ADHD and just kind of poke fun to it. But it's another when a doctor literally diagnosed you like you have it. And she was so shocked that I have it because she said most of the people who has it can't function or can't even get 1 degree, let alone almost 5, right? It's high functioning. He's like, the reason that you got out of that crack is because you hide a lot of what's the stigma out there to what you're productive. And one of my sisters said, I want to have your ADHD because I can literally, like, if you give me a problem, there's a folder in my head. I can picture everything in files in my head and I can find solutions right away, just like this. When I watch a movie, my husband hates it because I can tell once I watch that movie in 5 minutes, I know who the characters are. I know the ending. I know what happened. So when we watch a movie, he said, shut up. I don't want to know the whole plot. I just want to get entertained. Right. Out of all the poking fun, it's hard because now that I'm a little bit older, and the reason I even asked to get diagnosed is because in my household, it's been difficult. I've been married 20 years now, but my husband's complaining a lot more and saying, honey, you need to concentrate on what I'm saying. I can't concentrate on him and I's conversation. Literally in 30 seconds, I feel like something in me like just switched, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I moved from one conversation to another just quickly. And my husband is an engineer. He's a cybersecurity architect. Okay. And he's very structured in a conversation where he goes in there and he goes in a loop to make sure you understand. I understand 1, 2 words. I already know. And so having us in a conversation is horrible. Like picture just, so that's the reason why I went to get help. It's because it's affecting our relationship when I communicate with my family right now, quite honestly, because I can't concentrate on a conversation. And I get stressed out and, anxiety and panic attacks and depression. It goes with that loop. And the reason that I want to be busy is because I cannot take a moment not to be busy because I get depressed. And I don't need a reason for depression. People think, oh, what are you getting depressed for? It has nothing to do with that. It's a chemical imbalance. You can't function. You just go with it, right? And yeah, I can't believe I'm even talking about that life. But
And
I have a lot of
thank you
tests
for
I have
that
to do
because
right
there's
now.
other people out there like you that are just discovering this now. And you are a resource when you share that. So I applaud you and I thank you so much. I mean, that was very brave, and that is something that, again, we need to break the walls down on. So like, hats off to you. That was total mic drop. 100. Like, I'm just I'm just going to shut up. Actually, that was
Yeah, I'm on research mode, and my psychiatrist told me, I said I need this, this, and this, and this. She's like, wait, who's the doctor here? And I was like, listen, I have transferable skills, but I can research. Like, I want to know the research from this. So I'm gonna go to NIH. I'm gonna go hook up with my people on MIT. I'm gonna hook up everyone. I said, there's gotta be people out there, not just a stigma, but maybe you have a different type of ADHD that is preventing you from getting what you want. You know what you want, but you might not have the right support system or the right tools or the right environment that makes you blossom of who you are. And that's the people that I'm going to be helping. That's my other thing that I'm like laser focused. I'm hyper focused. So when I focus on something, I'm relentless. I will get it. I will not take no for an answer. I will take a maybe, but I will not take no for an answer, because tomorrow you might not need me today. Tomorrow you will. I guarantee you will. And that's why I'm like, nope, you can't say no to me. Just think about it. Just say maybe, but we're going to work on something for sure. But I'm kind of emotional because I don't want to take medicine. I'm not the type of person that like to be medicated, but I do suffer from migraines as well. I have a debilitating migraine. I get disability for it because I used to vomit 19 times a day, 22 days out of 30 days. For about 8 years now. I've lost hair from medicine. I've gained 20 pounds from medicine. And but I keep going anyway. I usually, on average, I have 600 students. I can't let them down.
I can wow, just thank you. I can completely relate with that. I mean, when I was first diagnosed with PTSD, I was the same mindset because I had previous doctors, put me on some stuff that did not react well with me. No kind of, follow up as to, how is this impacting you? What is, are you experiencing any of this? Are you experiencing any of that? No, it was simply just, here's the medication. You go, if you come back in, if you're feeling different. But, and you can't even, with some of these medications, you can't even notice it, right? You can't notice that difference until much longer into that process. And again, it takes years to maybe sometimes find the right medication. So I can completely relate with that. And I embrace you on whatever you decide to choose with that. This is your path. Do what you feel is the right thing for you. And that's all anybody can really ever expect from you.
Yeah.
Medication in
CBT.
my case did work. But again, it took years to find that medication. It took almost 4 years to find the right medication. So, I mean, it's a commitment to go through all of that. And again, you're playing huge. And I'm going to say, just because I'm a gentleman, I mean, a lady's chemistry is something that we as men do not toy with. We do not talk about. And the fact that there is so much more chemistry involved with our female souls, like, those chemistries can have a really adverse effect very quickly or not have any effect at all, depending on the soul that's taking them. So, Constance, you are like that. That's just, you are such a freaking warrior, and you're tackling the same thing that you've done with everything else. And the fact that you're sharing this and encouraging those that might also have the same scenario, coming into this, did you feel that when you learned that you had and been diagnosed with ADHD, did you find that things made more sense in your world?
Yes, but I don't know why. I had an okay, first of all, this is my fifth psychiatrist. Like, all of the psychiatrists just literally tell me, you don't have it. You have 4 degrees. And then my recent one, she's like, well, there's different degrees of ADHD. There's different degrees, right? And neurodivergent, also different degrees. And my daughter's like, you're not neurodivergent. Have you met you, mom? You have no social problems. You just talk to people like nobody else. And I said, it's because of that different degree, right? Of diagnosis. And it's very hard. And she's like, you need CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy, where you need. And I told my doctor, I said, did you know that March of this year, I am a coach practitioner, practicing license CBT coach practitioner? She's like, what? I said, yeah, because I know I have issues. Like literally, I know I have attitude issues. I got whatever issues. So what I do is instead of wallowing in my issues, I research how can I help myself so that maybe I can help others with their issues. That's always me. I always focus on whatever issues I got and then trying to figure it out. I'm like, oh, I have that issue. I can help you. Right. It's always me trying to help with. That's why maybe God gave me a lot of issues to figure out because He knows I like to figure them out and then put it out there. And I was like, man, I just think about it. I have a lot of issues. Holy moly. Um, and I am an advocate for migraine people. It is not, I get hospitalized a lot, used to be every Friday. I would go and get a drip because I bleed through my eyes and I pop veins on my eyes and my ears. The blood just it's just too much pressure, so I get that. And my dad said, maybe you should stop thinking, CJ. Maybe it's the brain flow or whatever. And I was like, okay, Dad. And I have an MRI and my frontal lobe right here, it's fully scarred from the pain, so it's all white matter. And I said, I need to hurry up on teaching because once I put it out there, in case I get like non-functioning brain, I'm still helping others while I'm in this stage. And my husband's like, can you stop being negative? I said, hey, we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. I found mine. I hope you will find yours.
Mic drop. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for going there. And I know it's not easy, and I applaud you for it because, again, there's going to be others that benefit from you. And for those of you out in the comments, again, it's been a little bit of a chaos night, but thank you to my sister in the background, rocking and rolling. We've had all those comments going through and the banners going through. I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you to all of you that have been patient while we get through this evening. And again, I haven't had much opportunity to reflect on those comments yet. However, for those of you in the comments right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. Any questions that you have for Dr. Constance Leland, you're going to have about a minute to think those up. And then when we come back, we're going to pop some questions at Dr. Constance. Then we're going to find out what her mental health break montage looks like. And then we're going to find out what's new, what's big, and going to be happening for you in the upcoming year. All right. So without further delay, after these messages, we'll be right back.
Yo!
And remembering to unmute this time. Thank you so much, my sister, for rocking those banners. Nancy Deborah Barrows is just absolutely a savior and a saint. She's been going through her own adversities, obviously, through her TMS treatments. And a quick shout out to her. Make sure you catch her shows on Sundays. Then when she talks and expresses her journeys as well, just as Dr. Constance Leland has this evening with us. So, with the help of my sister in the background, do we have any questions for Dr. Constance Leland this evening in anything that she's addressed, or do you just want to fire it out there to her? I'm going to just look for wink, wink, nod, nods from the sis in the background. Welcome to live. Thank you, Lydia. Oh, Lydia, I am okay. I'm getting on for those of you that did not catch last week's show, Lydia was on. I owe you a recommendation that I've been having some serious LinkedIn issues as of late. I don't know what's going on. I think maybe system updates. There's new updates coming out for iPhone and all this other stuff. So I literally had spent almost an hour and a half, 2 hours writing up this recommendation for her. Just as I go to press send, bloop, gone. And I was mobile and I was so upset because I was like, I poured my heart into this thing and LinkedIn just kicks me out like that. Like, what are you talking about? Nancy Deborah Barrows, any advice for women, or sorry, any advice for how to raise strong women? I had to correct myself on that.
Second
for you,
favorite color. Okay, so I will address Nick first. Second favorite color is red. That's for sure. Pink and red. And then any advice for how to raise strong women? Literally, how I do it is raise your children no matter what. When you inject positivity, remember kids come out blank. Think of your bond paper. It's literally blank until you put it on the printer, you feed stuff in it, and then you print out whatever you want. Same thing for your kids. They come in blank, right? Whatever you feed in that little head of theirs until they grow up is going to affect them. The very first 10 years of their life is going to be the rest of their life on how to make decisions. There are character traits that you can't change, but I believe that the environment that they are in needs to be all about, hey, making decisions, because I can't be here 24/7. It's just me helping. You are doing great. And then you are doing this. How about this? Having them make a choice rather than telling them what to do. I've been told what to do all my life, and I feel like you're hindering the possibilities of that person when every time you told them not what to do. Because when you're telling people what to do, you're literally putting it on a lens of your own self and your own limitations. But if you're pushing them, what do you think about this? Asking them of what they need to do rather than you telling them, I feel like that's going to raise more awareness on their self-confidence until one day when they're age 12, like my daughter, she don't need to tell you what to do. Like literally she tells me what to do now. Okay. My 16-year-old, I have a 19 and a 16-year-old, and my 16-year-olds are like, no, that's not how it works, mom. I'm like, okay, fine. She's like, well, no, I don't want to go to Facebook. You're too old for like TikTok. I was like, I'll show you what too old TikTok looks like. I know, that's what I said. And she's like, I hope my friends don't see you in there. So always push them to make decisions for themselves and what they think. And all we do is literally like a herder. Like, oh, wait, no, don't go that way and don't go this way. But if you tell them all the time, you're hindering their possibilities.
Absolutely. You are molding them and preparing them for their journey. And there's no words to describe that. That is, again, you've been dropping the mic all night. And,
Sister, I love purple too. Nicole's like, we can't, the sisters anymore. Purple and green. I love green. My husband's car is green. I love lime green, and I love military green. And I also love, I love all the colors, quite honestly. But if you're looking in my area, like right now, everything is pinkified.
And pink rocks. The only reason I've got purple on the show, one, it's the mental health color, and two, it was my mom's favorite color. So in honor of her, I made sure that when I was building this little backdrop and everything, that purple was a predominant part of it. I was just going to have it, a little purple ribbon in the corner. I was like, no, let's blow this up. I likes my purple. Purple's pretty cool. So I totally celebrate you that. And again, that backdrop, just epic beyond belief. And I'm still like, those flowers? Are those real flowers? Oh, what's that up on the counter? Oh, are those champagne glasses? Oh, there's so much. I love it.
This one, actually, I'm going to make this pink. I already have my crystals right here. I'm going to make everything pink soon. Yeah.
That is fantastic. So, Constance, you know that when you come on here and you share, part of the gift back is your mental health break montage. And again, it's never a 100% thing guarantee for me. So far, we've been We've been batting in the right parks, and nobody has yet to say that they haven't enjoyed their soul song. So when it came to finding your soul song and the couple songs that you gave me, as well as a healthy reflection on the journey that you've had and what you've contributed and what I've watched you do, I think I found a very appropriate song for this evening, and I hope you enjoy it, because we are about to embrace Constance's mental health break montage.
Story, something to get off my chest. My life gets kind of boring. It's something that I can't confess. Till all my sleeves are stained red from all the truth that I said. I come by it honestly, I swear. Thought you saw me wink, no, I've been on the brink, so we got this far. It's like we're chasing all those stars. Who's driving shiny big black cars? And every day I see the news, all the problems that we could solve. And when a situation rises, just write it into an album, sending straight to gold. But I don't really like my flow, no. So tell me what you want to hear. It's something that'll like those ears. I'm sick of all the insincere, so I'm gonna give all my secrets away. This time, don't need another perfect lie. Don't care if critics ever jump in line, so I'm gonna give all my secrets away. Got no reason, got no shame, got no family I can blame. Just don't let me disappear. I'ma tell you everything. So tell me what you want to hear. Something that'll like those ears. I'm sick of all the insincere, so I'm gonna give all my secrets away. This time, don't need another perfect lie. Don't care if critics jump in line, so I'm gonna give all my secrets away. All my secrets away. This time, don't need another perfect lie. Don't care if critics ever jump in line, so I'm gonna give all my secrets away.
Wow. I try not to cry. Oh my God. That was really nice, Aaron. Thank you so much for putting that together. Yeah, seeing my grandfather in there, that's him when he was young in Guangzhou, China, and seeing my mom, my grandma who's not doing so well right now. And yeah, wow. Thank you.
You are very welcome, and you are very celebrated, my lady. And thank you for everything that you give selflessly, to the time and effort and sacrifice that you give in the background scenes, to everything that you've contributed in collaboration, to the monumental, huge projects you've done this year. Through your work does not go unnoticed. So thank you, and we celebrate you. And just there is never enough appreciation here for the magical things that you give. So you are always welcome. We would love to have you back. But before we let you go, now that you're feeling all nice and warm and fuzzy, what's new? What's big? What's going to be happening for you over the next year?
Let's see. Well, I'm going to put it out there. First is Nick's anthology. I couldn't do the 50 inspirational if Nick didn't really say yes to my crazy idea. The Global Summit, we had another 30 people. I want to do the Global Summit hybrid next year. That's the plan. I'm hoping I can do, I'm going to put it out there, a TEDx speaking engagement. That's one of my goal. Maybe it happened, maybe it won't. And really grow Level Up Academy to different parts of the world so that I can engage everyone to be educated in life, but also having the right momentum of all kinds of collaborative projects. I would love to collaborate with people to put them in light more, right? Because you have light within you. And if I can help you, I'm a nobody. I am somebody, but I am a nobody at the same time. So if I can help you in my own little way to elevate you as the king and queen that you deserve, I will do that for the rest of my life. And next year is no different, except we're going to take on the TV world for sure.
Whoop, whoop. Love it. Yeah, you raise that roof, blow it off. Don't let it ever come back down. That thing's in the atmosphere now. It needs its own flight attendant. Just to keep it politically, because I'm an equalitarian, we're going to keep it politically. Flight attendant. You're going to have your own flight attendant on the way out. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Nancy, Deborah Barrows. Thank you, all my sisters out there. And thank you, Aaron.
It's been our privilege and just an honor to have you on. And I thank you so much. I know that you've got a very busy schedule. So thank you so much on my behalf and everybody else's behalf here for taking that time to spend an hour with us this evening. Share your story, share your inspiration, be the epic spark to ignite every Phoenix out there. I wholeheartedly encourage you to reach out and connect with this fantastic soul. So much to learn from, so much to provide, and the knowledge behind you, such wisdom. I appreciate that. And there's a lot of other people that appreciate that too. So thank you for being here.
Love you guys.
So
bye, everybody.
Yes, before you take off, we're going to jam out with the outro. Thank you for everybody out in those comments for embracing us this evening with technical gremlins just not working with us and all the other factors. We made it through yet again. 3 episodes, now down to 2 episodes left of Soul Man Live before we shut down for the season. Oh, thank you, everyone out there that has made this dream a reality. And for those of you out there catching the show for the first time, if you are silently struggling, please know that your happiness is worth fighting for. It is worth it for you to commit back to yourself, to commit to yourself, to work on yourself. And no, it doesn't happen overnight, but you deserve to have your happiness back. Please do not be afraid to be vulnerable and reach out. Thank you, one and all. It's another Soul Man Live episode down with this fantastic special guest of mine, Dr. Constance Leland. Thank you so much to her. Thank you to my remote production team working their rears off for this evening. We're going to say goodnight and keep it easy. Keep it safe. Bye.
You!
Oops. That's not it. That's not it either. Welcome to live. All right, maybe it's this one. No. Yeah, there we go. We're rocking out now. Get it, baby, get it. Whoop, whoop. Come on. Hey.